Hey folks, what is up? This is One Big Bugga, and I am coming at you with Euro Truck Simulator 2. Did not get my video up yesterday, of course. Um, I meant to record ahead. I didn't. What else is new? Not saying I won't again, but it did make it easier, so I'm going to try and get that done at some point. Although you should know me by now, not uploading a video at least one day during the week, because I don't upload on the weekends, is pretty typical of me. And saying I'm going to do something and then not actually doing it is also typical of me. And I apologize for that, but I always apologize for that. That's just how I am. So I wanted to record this and get this done and get it up early. Then maybe I can get ahead later. We'll see. But anyways, I'm pretty sure, again, that I've already chosen our freight. Um, yeah, I guess I chose the 23 tons of honey. Okay. I kind of don't remember doing that, but I kind of do. Anyways. I actually got it up a little loud this time. That's unusual for me. We're going to need... I am like barely touching the throttle and backing up, which is fine. You know what I find is the most difficult part about having my channel? Is, or at least was, and it still crops up from time to time. It's when I, God, my brain already crashed. It's when I've done like mods, I used to showcase mods and whatnot rather than just wanting to play. And, people still come across those mods today and they go and look for them and they can't find them. Or, so, oh, I went to try this mod but it doesn't work. And it's kind of like one thing I never anticipated, but I should have anticipated was putting into the is that behind? Yeah, it's behind me of all things. Putting into the video what version of the game the mod was on. So I often find myself saying, oh, well, it doesn't work anymore, but you can go to this website. Oops. You can go to this website here and you can look for a truck mod that you like or whatever. And or you can look for an updated version, and I'll try and like give the name. All right, how far do we have on this? 1,300. So I'm gonna leave this up again. We're gonna say about 1,400. So 1,400, that means around 700 kilometers. We're gonna stop for this video. Haven't had much of a chance to tow unusual cargoes. They used to be a pretty big thing, but not so much anymore. And I think that's a change in the game, as well as possibly in Jazzy Cat's mods. And to be fair, I'm not upset about it. It's more realistic, Oops, I'm going straight. I need to go this way. Fortunately, it's a large... large road, so not too difficult. Want to get over. You're not gonna stop, are you? Oh, you're turning. Wow, that actually scared me. Anyways. God, I'm glad I don't have a big trailer right now. Or this would suck beyond belief. That is the drawback, like I've said before, to having trailer mods mixed in with like map mods, is the two don't take each other into account. So it's like, oh, you're towing a 900-mile long trailer? Well, here's a sharp corner you're going to have no hope of making. Because in reality, when you tow trailers that big, that heavy, you'd have an escort and a planned freaking route. Not sure why. It's not bad. My frame rate's down a little bit today. Must be something I'm running or something I'm doing. I'm running Bandicam. It shouldn't be an issue, but... And it can't be the truck. So, I don't know. The rain has a little bit to do with it, but I usually do a little bit better than this, but not a big deal. It's really not. Not like when I was recording with fraps and stuff, and it was really bad. Or I'd like commonly get under, way under 30 frames. I still find it funny that in like this game, I kind of struggle sometimes when recording to pull like 50, 60 frames at a good time. Stop short. But in other games, which are actually much more visually demanding, that I can easily pull 45 frames or better while recording. So I've had to start to weed eat in the yard again. We had a lawnmower here for a little while, and my brother-in-law George had been using it to mow the lawn and did a very good job getting the lawn all caught up and all even, looking nice. But of course, the lawnmower was borrowed, so it had to go back, which means you know, I'm going back to weed eating, which is fine. It's my exercise, so even though I may grumble about it to myself from time to time, I don't openly grumble about it, because the reality is I don't mind doing it so much. I don't, you know, it's not such a bad thing, especially because I said it's my exercise. We're up a little bit too fast. You know, so it's not such a big deal to me. But I find myself difficult, you know, it's difficult to motivate myself. I find myself not wanting to go out and do it because I haven't had to do it in a few days. When I was doing it day after day after day, even though I was sore from doing it, even though I was having, one of my knees was having issues, my right arm, my elbow was having issues, and a couple other things, from really not getting a break, I still kind of enjoyed doing it. It became habit. Wasn't a bad thing. I'd go outside and go, I'll weed eat when I come out later in the day, and then all of a sudden the next thing I know, I find myself with the weed eater in my hand, firing it up, getting ready to go. Almost didn't see that motorcycle. Which is something truckers might say a lot, I don't know. Anyways. Yay, money. Yeah, after this delivery, eh? Oops. That's not your wipers, dude. Yeah, see, even with the rain stopped, I'm still only pulling about 30 frames, so... Something's up. Something's running that shouldn't be, more than likely. I don't care, as long as I can pull a decent 30 frames. I only render at 30 frames. I'd like to, yeah, my loan's gone up, by the way, because I took out extra loan to mod my truck. I'm going 109. Not that the truck can't handle it, but just fuel economy wise, with this monster, I want to keep it around 105. And plus, like I said, 105 is an easy 60 miles per hour. But I want to render it more than, you know, I'd love to be able to render at 60 frames, but it just makes the file too big for the upload speed that I have. Yeah, so as I was saying, I'm just difficult to motivate myself to get out there and do it, and I've done it the past 2 days. And while this video is uploading today, because I'm literally going to record it and upload it at the same time, I chose the wrong lane to get into. Let there be no doubt about that. Wow, I always do that. I always slow down way too much. Because I'm like storming up on the guy too fast. But it's alright. But I'm pretty sure I'll get back into the swing of things of weed eating, because I'm going to be going and doing that once I'm done here and get this uploaded and running. One problem I am having with myself is forgetting to take my medicine. It's not that I don't want to take it. You know, I do. I want to do the right thing. Even though I've been struggling on my diet recently, eating more than I should have, especially the last couple days. A couple days literally meaning 2, and I'll go into that a little bit later after I talk about my medicine. But yeah, whew, this is not something I'm used to. That's why I'm concentrating. This is a very, I don't know, man. This is not the world's easiest on-ramp here. Okay, I think we're all right. Or off-ramp, on-off-ramp, whatever. I really do want to take my medicine. I really do want to make things work. I'm going over here. This is going to go a little bit faster. A little bit as in like 1 car faster. I really do want to take my medicine. I really am still trying to get healthy. I haven't given up. I'm never giving up on that. And I'm still doing relatively well. As a matter of fact, I was supposed to go to the doctor's yesterday, but I had forgotten. I'll get into that after, too. It's just a problem I have. Even though I've set my medicine up in a day planner, which is hilarious considering I only need to take my 1 pill twice a day. But in order to try and help remind myself that I have to take 1 pill twice a day, I've gotten a day planner thing, you know, that people put their pills in, take this Monday, take this Tuesday, yeah. I've gotten one of those, and I've put it directly in front of me on my table so that I can see it, and I can see the pills inside, so I'll know if I've taken my morning pill, or, that didn't sound right, but I'm going to run with it. I know if I've taken the pill I'm supposed to take in the morning, or if I haven't, you know. Because that was an issue I was having too. When I forget to take my medicine, I wasn't sure if I had taken it or not. So I'd sit there and stare at the bottle and go, did I take my pill this morning, or did I forget? Because the medicine I'm taking, it's a very low dose metformin, but it still can be dangerous because it is made to regulate blood sugar. And, oh man, I hate saying that. I really, this is one of the main reasons I am working so hard to get healthy. Because I don't want to have to take medicine to, I don't want to be diabetic. I've been escaping that for over 40 years, and it's finally caught me. And no, now I stand and fight rather than run. But anyways, doubling up on that can be really bad for me. It really can, because it can take my blood sugar too low, which is dangerous, as anyone should know. So that's another reason for the planner. If I'm not sure that I've taken my medicine, I can just look and see, are there 2 pills in there or 1? But even though it's sitting here in front of me, even though it's right there, I still tend to forget. I'll either forget 1 dose, and then by the time I remember, it's far too late in the day to take it. Or, like yesterday, I just forgot totally. I didn't take my morning or evening pill, so that's bad, man. I have some severe memory issues. Speaking of which, segue into when I was supposed to go to the doctor's. I was supposed to go to the doctor's and yesterday, but I had thought that my appointments weren't till next week. So I didn't bother arranging things, always leaving things to the last minute. But even if I did arrange it, I would have been arranging them for the wrong time, wrong day. So I made, I had to call and reschedule my appointments, which was really disappointing to me because I was actually looking forward to standing on the scale again. I lost 10 pounds in the month that I scheduled my appointment with my doctor and actually or when I first went to the doctor the first time, and then when I went back to see my doctor the second time, I lost 10 pounds. And I'm confident that I've lost more weight. I really am. But man, I'm just so upset with myself because I wanted to get on that scale, I wanted to be there like that, and I just couldn't. The main reason I couldn't is because my mother-in-law uses my car to go and pick up my niece from school in the afternoon. But if I arrange it ahead of time, and this is the last time I'm going to be doing this, by the way, and I'll also explain that. If I arrange it ahead of time, I can use the car to go do what I need, and she can get the car that my sister-in-law and her husband, my brother-in-law George, use to go and do it. But it's really kind of dawned on me that I can do something to help a little bit more. And that's try and schedule my appointments for like morning times, for early mornings. Because I get up, the latest I get up now is 10 o'clock. I get up as early as 8 o'clock-ish in the morning, around 8:30. And the latest I tend to get up is about 10 o'clock. And so that's just how things are for me. Sorry, my mind went off on thinking on its own things there, as it commonly does. So, anyways, if I can start scheduling my appointments so that I'm home, I believe, by no later than 1:30 in the afternoon. I think 1:30 would be the absolute latest. Might even have to be 1 o'clock. I think I'd play 1 o'clock to be safe. Then, I can go to the appointment, come home, and then my mother-in-law can go and pick up my niece at the time, that I get back. So she doesn't have to get up early in the morning and take she doesn't have to get up early in the morning and take my sister-in-law and my brother-in-law to work. Still, that doesn't help the fact that I'm really fucking sucky on my memory. It's been a problem I've had for a very, very long time. I have severe memory issues in just remembering to do things. And it used to frustrate my wife to no end, honestly. She'd ask me, "Oh, can you do this on your way?" Oh yeah, okay, hon, yeah, sure. I'd get up, I'd go do what I was gonna do, and come back. Did you? Oh, no, wait, let me go get it. She hated it. She really did. She thought I was doing it on purpose for a long time, but the reality is no. Even if it was just as simple as me getting up to go use the bathroom, and then, to go pee, basically, come back and sit down, which would take me all of a minute. And she'd ask me, "Oh, can you change the trash on your way back? Can you put a new trash bag in the barrel?" "Oh yeah, sure, hon." I get up, go pee, walk right past the barrel on the way back, totally forgetting that I'm supposed to put a trash bag in there. And she'd look at me like, "Did you put a trash bag in the barrel?" Oh, fuck. And she think I'm doing it on purpose. It's like, no, I'm really not. I'm just honestly forgetting. I've always had that issue. I've always had a memory issue. I don't know. It could be due to the fact of head injuries I received as a baby. I don't recall them, but I do know they happened. When I was really young, and I'm talking like 4 years old, Hey, nobody turn. Thank you. I should be going a little slower anyways. I should be going a lot slower. Damn it, I was trying to get down before that happened. Oh well. So, yeah, we need to stop at the next gas. I was hoping to go until I rest to stop at the gas station, but that's just not going to happen. So, when we lived in Hanson, Massachusetts, our home had a fireplace, and it had a, the brick around it that most fireplaces do, but it had a raised lip. And at one point, I slipped and fell backwards while standing in front of the fireplace. Not directly in front, a few feet in front of it. And it was just perfect enough that when I fell... now that I think of it, I've had a lot of blows to the back of my head. When I fell, the back of my head landed directly on the corner of the fireplace. Directly on the corner of the, I don't know what you'd call it, that, the area just in front of the fireplace. Anyways, the back of my head landed directly on that corner. When I was even younger than that, when I was a little baby, and this is something I definitely don't remember, but it did happen, and it may be one of the reasons why I have a dislike. I think I bumped that by accident. It may be one of the reasons why I have a disliking of this particular aunt as much as I do. My aunt was, doing whoops-a-daisy, throwing me up in the air. Yeah, well, she whoops-a-daisied my ass into the overhead chandelier that was covering the light. And, of course, it shattered, and I have a scar on my head to this day from that, where her hair won't grow. It's just, it's a small little thing, and I think now that even if I let my hair grow in, you're not going to see it because I've gone bald in that area. But, there it was. Okay, gas station. Do not talk yourself so much that you forget that there's a gas station right there. And then, again, when I was older, I don't know how old, it was before I was 8, I was climbing a tree with a friend of mine whose name was Mike. He had this awesome climbing tree in his yard. He really did. I have vague memories of it. It had really big, thick branches that ran all the way down the trunk. I mean, all the way. I'm talking about to the ground. So it was really easy to get into and climb. And was climbing it, and I don't know how far up I was, but I was up a distance, maybe 20 feet or so. I thought I stopped the engine. Maybe 20 feet or so, maybe a little bit more. And the next thing I know, I hear crack. And the way I remember it now is it really was like slow motion. It really was like slow motion, for sure. I slowly felt myself start to go backwards and fall. And the next thing I knew, I heard clunk. Okay, I heard it. Thank you for actually stopping on the highway to letting me go. Okay. Anyways, I heard the back of my head go clunk. And I felt my head tip forward. I do have a decent memory of this. I felt my head tip forward, and I saw a blinding flash of light. And the next thing I knew, I woke up on the ground with about 5 or 6 branches under me. My mom coming out onto the porch of my friend's house, screaming, looking horrified, as I slowly got myself up and tried to figure out what the fuck just happened. And then yes, there's another one. And the final memory I have of something happening where I took a blow to the back of the head. Yeah, that's what I thought. The final thing I remember happening when I took a blow to the back of the head was I was sledding. And this is when I was, I don't know, I'd like to say 15, maybe? But I think I was actually around 13, maybe even 12. I don't remember for sure, but I was sledding down this big hill in Plymouth, Massachusetts, with my friends, and you know, I had this sled, and I don't know if you know the type. You probably do, because they still make them. I had this sled with you know, those plastic handles on the side that are supposed to be brakes. Those on a good sledding hill, okay? On a good sledding hill where the snow was packed down and almost like ice when you would slide down it. On a good sledding hill. Those things would never work. They were completely hopeless. And and the hill was big, and I was flying down it. I don't know how I had built up so much momentum. I've never had before. I must have hit a good spot on the hill, because I flew down the damn thing. And I hit the flat. Instead of slowing down on the flat, I kept going. And a certain bump had caused my sled to turn to the left. And I was headed straight for a picnic table. I was trying to stop using the plastic brakes, which, again, never fucking works. It never works. They're completely hopeless. And so, as I'm approaching this this picnic table at, to me, what is horrifying speeds. I finally tell myself, get off the sled. So I turn to get off the sled, and I actually get my back completely to the picnic table, and I'm like, falling to the ground as I'm getting off. I'm planning to fall onto my stomach to try and stop. And what ends up happening is I put myself at a very perfect height that my body went under the picnic table completely, but my head was at a perfect height for the back of my head to clunk directly against for the back of my head to clunk directly against the seat. And it's always the same spot, right where the neck meets the head, basically. And again, I heard the clunk, I saw a white flash of light, and the next thing I know, I'm waking up under the picnic table with my friends looking, at a distance. They're looking at me like, are you dead? And, oh man. The thing is I didn't wake up in pain, and as far as I know, I never actually got the big knot you get for banging your head or something like that. You get those big knots. I never got that. So, four times before I was 15, I'm almost sure it's before I was 15. I took a pretty severe blow to the back of my head growing up. I don't know. Does that play a part in it? Maybe. That's not the first sledding incident. Not the last sledding incident I had. I had one more that I remember. And again, it involved one of those sleds with the plastic brakes that never worked. And I was flying down this hill. It was a community hill when me, my mother, and my sister lived in Abington, in Massachusetts. And there was this community hill that people would sled on. And it was such a community hill that people used to just bring extra sleds and leave them for other people to sled on. And you could actually come up, grab a sled, and, start sliding with somebody else's sled. Actually, it worked rather well, People rarely ever had sleds taken. There's nothing coming. I don't have to make a particularly good turn here. Yeah, but people rarely had sleds taken. So they would just, you'd come up, grab a sled, and start sledding. And that's what I did one day. I grabbed a sled from the pile that people bring extra sleds and leave, and I started sledding. And of course, it happened to be one of those sleds with plastic brakes that your mind starts relying on to stop you from slamming into something, but never actually works. And anyways, I'm flying down this hill, and it's not a particularly long hill. It's got some decent duration to it, but not a particularly long hill. But it's steep, so you built up speed. You could go flying on the flat area for a bit of a distance. Well, I'm on this sled, and I'm going down the hill, and it suddenly dawns on me that I'm headed straight for this bench. Now these benches, because this is actually off to the side a bit of a baseball field, and some of these benches are built around for people to sit on, not including like the bleachers and stuff. And these benches are basically two big round wooden stumps with a board across it. I mean, that's basically it. It's a little bit more sophisticated and refined than that, but that is basically it. I was wondering if I should stop here, but actually I can go another 100 kilometers, so I should be alright. I said 700 kilometers instead of 800. And so I'm headed straight for the side of this bench, you know, directly at one of the legs. So I am grabbing the plastic brakes and I'm pulling back as hard as I can. Of course, I've got far too much momentum, and those brakes, you know, they might stop you in a week, you know, even in the best of circumstances. And I'm flying down this hill, and I'm like, oh shit, and I never stopped in time, and I ended up slamming into this bench, but I didn't just run into it flat. Oh no! As you know, you sit on the sleds with your feet pointing forward on the type of sled that I'm talking about, and in short, the sled impacted the pole of the bench, you know, and what ended up happening is the sled suddenly stopped, and I kept going forward. My legs straddled around the pole, and to put it in light terms, I basically split the uprights and slammed Jules first into the leg of the bench at high speed. Now, I don't know if my mind turned itself off at that point, or if it was because I was actually pretty cold. Because even though I had on a heavy jacket, hat, and gloves, I only I had boots and thick socks as well. I only had a pair of jeans on. So my legs were pretty cold. I was actually, you could almost call it frozen. You know? So I don't know if I was numbed out enough, but when I impacted, I didn't hesitate. I pushed myself off. I dusted off my pants. I looked at the crowd who was looking at me with horror, especially the men, obviously, were looking at me with horror on their faces. And I just kind of waved at them and said, no, I'm all right. I'm okay. I didn't actually, my legs stung. You know, my legs really stung, like I had been slapped multiple times really hard. But I didn't feel the pain that I should have been feeling at that point. And I think that was the last time I've ever had a sledding incident. I did go sledding after that, but I never had a problem. That's the last time I actually crashed into something while sledding, other than another person. But we're winding. Actually, we're almost to where, you know, we'd want to rest anyways, so this is pretty good. So the next rest stop we see, we have to stop. And hopefully it won't be too long, although I have a feeling I should have stopped at that last one. Every time I see a side road like that, I'm like, rest stop? No, it's not. I don't know if it's actually a good idea. I try and pass. Yeah. You can usually get an idea if it's going to be okay for you to try and pass or not by the timing of the traffic that comes by. Because this is how the game works, or at least so I believe, and my observations kind of tell me this. Watching the traffic come by you usually lets you know, yeah, I'm slowing down because I figure somebody's going to be turning. Watching the traffic come by you, you can usually get a rough time. It's not exact, but you can usually get a rough time about how much time you're going to have to pass somebody. So you kind of can sit there and count 1, 2, 3, and then, you know, a car will eventually pass. If you do it again at the same pace, you'll get roughly the same count. You know, the game works on like a volume deal of how many cars should be passing you on the road that you're on at what time it is, and so it spaces them out to come at a kind of rhythmic or random, you know, seemingly random but actually rhythmic time. So now that we've gone past 700 kilometers, as I feared, we are now really wanting a rest stop. I always put myself in these situations. I always go, man, I can go one more rest stop, forgetting that I'm really on a country road. And that the nearest rest stop may not be that fucking close. Right, we got some heavy turns coming up, so we're going to have to slow down. Alright, maybe I won't be going 50, but yeah, that kind of... Alright, there's a rest stop in that quarry, and that is a quarry. I'm going to rest there. I'm going to rest down in that quarry. Oh, I really did get down to 50. Not of my own choosing, mind you. I should have my lights on right now. Come on, baby. You're only towing 23 tons. You got 1,000 horsepower. And a shit ton of torque to go with it. Although I don't have the towing tranny. I have the, cruising tranny over here. Yes, yes, I know. Yes, yes. We're not going to risk going and seeing. Because it's right here, I'm just not going to bother. I'm really not. I could go on the map and see, and there could be a rest stop just a couple miles up the road, or a couple kilometers, call it what you will. But I'm not going to bother. I'm just coming in here and going to use the local rest spot. Oh, apparently I've discovered Stuttgart. This must be part of a town that's close by, maybe? God, that sounds so real, just not as loud as it actually would be. That still gives me chills, man. Alright, we are gonna apply the brake here because we are pointed downhill. Nice. Anyways. Alright, folks, so that's going to be me done for this episode. I hope you've enjoyed watching this as much as I've been enjoying bringing it to you. Until next time, this is going to be One Big Bugga, and I am going to be signing out. I'll see you.